Hey guys. Yeah, I'm sorry this one is a little later than normal. Um, it's honestly a little complicated. What happened is a little complicated to explain, but basically, like, what happened is pretty much the pretty much time in which the chapter releases and the time in which and the time in which and the time in which Crunchyroll makes the chapter like even from available to read, we're pretty much both late. With like the time that the chapter gets released is around 5 o'clock my time, or 5 o'clock, 5:30 my time, and then and then after that it's from 9 or it's around it's from it's basically around from 9 o'clock like p.m. where I'm finally able to read the chapter. But here it was kind of like a weird. I don't know what was going on, if Crunchyroll was going through a glitch or something, but the chapter didn't get released until pretty much, the chapter itself didn't get released until pretty much 7 o'clock, and then it wasn't available for reading until like 11 o'clock after that. So it's like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened. Like it's from 12 it's from midnight my time now. So it's like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened there, but yeah, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna get into the details of that. But okay. But okay, so that aside though, let's talk about, obviously let's get into the chapter. And the interesting thing is Mashima pulled a little bit of a bait and switch this week, because the chapter started off by from showing Goodwin as a total gushing fanboy of all the beekeeper content that of all from Rebecca's, like, of Rebecca's content as a beekeeper, and immediately that causes you to kind of let your guard down, thinking, okay, this is stupidly easy. Like, this is just wow. like, and I fell into the trap myself, and believe it, I kind of fell into the trap myself because upon seeing like this play out, I was like, no, stop, Mashima, no, please, reverse course. And it wasn't getting any better when Shiki started talking about how everyone's getting along and saying we can all be friends. That's when I like face palmed and said, no, Mashima, please don't do this. But then thankfully, once Goodwin's right hand man spoke up, that's where we immediately switched gears back, punch back to the pretty much the starting friction between Oasis and the Eden's crew, which I will say, while it didn't exactly play out how I thought it would do, I definitely like how I definitely like how I definitely like how 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 Guna's betrayal of Oasis and everything else going on in the like background of their meeting is still serving as a bit of an anchor point in order for Sheikah to kind of prove himself to Goodwin. Like, it isn't it didn't, like, once the dramatic parts started like kicking in again, it immediately got to a point where there was still immediate friction, and even though Shiki was even though it didn't play out how I wanted to, from Shiki like striking a deal with Goodwin, it still played out in a way where when Shiki has to kind of prove himself, like loyal to that he's loyal, and that he won't pretty much betray Goodwin, how they won't betray Goodwin, pretty much what happened with Prince Laguna. So I definitely like it in that sense, because yeah, it isn't an easy fix in order for Shiki to like just get by saying, yeah, let's be friends. I'm really glad that Mashima did that bait and switch. It really freaking worked, honestly. Um, Now, of course, another thing to talk about is we see the reaction across the cosmos to Sakura's we see the reaction across the cosmos to Shura's declaration of war against machines, and as expected, it's just pure pandemonium. Like, the media, just robot developers, everyone is just freaking the fuck out, which is which is honestly probably exactly what Shura wanted and how he expected it to play out. Because pretty much now that he's created a scenario where the media and so many others are distracted by this declaration of purging machine kind, absolutely no one is going to be paying attention to the real reason he did this, which is to draw Ziggy out into a fight. And with the newest wrinkle thrown in, which I'm going to talk about, things are about to get even more complicated. And honestly, the thing that really stuck out to me, like at least between last week's chapter and this chapter especially, is with like a lot of this is major buildup we're getting, and I can't help but feel that exactly that with I'm I'm not exactly sure how I'm not exactly sure how far we are to the end of the series. Like it feels like we're kind of reaching the pivotal the pivotal crossroads the pivotal crossroads before we get to the climax of the series. Because aside from the whole thing with the relics that still needs to be resolved and that still needs to be found before we get to Mother, a lot within these last few chapters does feel like set up for the end game of the series. So yeah, I kind of wonder just with Eden Zero, just how many chapters does just how many chapters of the story are left in order for like Mashima to pretty much like write and draw out and all that. Like yeah, it seems like we're kind of reaching the end. I don't know how much more we have left, but it certainly feels that way. um and going off that, we essentially learned that the All Link is a phenomenon where the stars and planets align, and when combined with the high tide of the Yaoi cosmos, it essentially creates it's basically a weapon, obviously, but the weapon in question, like the combination of the high tide of the Yaoi cosmos and like the stars and planets aligning, it kind of creates what you could call a cosmic wide EMP bomb, or at least that's how it works, or at least that's how it works when used regularly, and how it's described. Because as we know, like even though Shura intends to destroy machines with this phenomenon, Ziggy intends to use it to rewire machine kind and have them take over the LA cosmos and the gods and the galaxy, all that shit. So that just means that Ziggy he knows something about this phenomenon we don't yet. Some kind of trick in order to have the all link in order to use the all link in order to do the reverse of destroy and reformat machines rather than destroy them. And again, going back to what I said previously, it's something that's in Shura's I think it all amounts to something that is in Shura's possession to do this. So yeah, a collision between these two is inevitable. Um, Also, I kind of love how all these moments piling up at once is really pushing Shiki against the wall. Because right now, he right now with Shiki, he's obviously not showing it, but he is facing like a really impossible like situation right now. And I think the only thing that Shiki can do right now with everything we learn is that he basically has to stop he has to stop everyone right now from claiming control over the All Link within those 3 days he has. And really, just saying all this out loud makes me realize this is like honestly, this is anyone's game to win, whether it's Ziggy or Shura. I generally like. I got to talking with some people in the last couple of chapters, and they say that it's more likely that from Ziggy is going to win. And I still do to a degree believe that. But the other thing about this chapter and specifically is that it kind of reinforced the idea that honestly, I generally don't think that there's a guaranteed victor in this in this war between Shura and Ziggy. Like I think either one of these two could really win. Like obviously, I mean obviously considering that again considering that Shiki is or that Ziggy is the main kind of built up as the main antagonist of the series, he obviously will. But at the same time, there is still this level of uncertainty of what's going to happen here that I really love. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and also Crunchyroll. Death Knight of NA, signing off. Later, guys.